certain things in life you're not meant to understand.
Ain't that the truth? All right, well,
let's roll with it.
Yeah, we're running.
Like how we come from George Gracie.
Do they pronounce their G's any different?
Is that Horse? Hey, Horse. I see. Maybe it's Gorga Gracie.
There you go.
That's a name I never really liked that much, George.
George?
Dang, I guess he came from extreme wealth.
And the other brothers didn't?
One of them I know did. Carlos did, for sure.
Carlos did.
Yeah. But his dad lost his business. And then it ended. Gorgeous. I like that. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous Gracie. That's where our lineage comes from, huh? He's up on the wall.
He's up on the wall, I think. Don't quote me on that.
No, he is.
Yeah, he is up on the wall.
That pose.
Yeah.
Pose totally gives it away.
I know. Dude, we should all make our own like this. Oh, we've changed it to the Be Nasty mirror pose.
Yeah. Oh, man. I just actually looked at that photo yesterday. I was looking at that photo. Dude, you look young.
I don't know what I was thinking.
You look
when
young.
I took that picture. I was super happy that I got my third stripe that day.
Man, I think everybody was super happy after that picture. You know what I mean? That thing was sexy.
I saw everybody was trying to get Rolo's picture to go around again.
Yeah, I saw that. I almost switched mine, but last time I did it, I think people thought I was gay.
I know too many people outside of Daboa.
Dude, I've got some really good pictures of you, Dre. Like some great pictures of you in like gladiator helmets.
Oh yeah,
and, you know what I mean. Like, got some good ones for sure. I was looking at one actually from one of those house parties where you're standing up on the table, and you're standing above everybody going like this.
I remember that.
There's like me and Clem and Rolo are standing down below you, looking up at the beauty there is.
That picture right there, though, it depends on perspective, because you got the one perspective if you look at it from mine where it's like, I'm king of the world. Then you have the other perspective of that man's up there in his panties. Yeah, and these guys, are they about to toss up some money up there?
Who wants to give me a 20?
I think what was going on that night.
I know exactly what was going on in that moment.
Drinking. I lost my phone. That was the night that the phone got killed. Yeah, anyways, you go ahead.
Yeah, you guys all threw me in the pool. And I was like, you think you can do this to me? You think I care about it? I stripped down to my drawers and walked in the house, jumped up on the counter. And I think that's what I was saying. You think you could do this to me? This is my house.
Oh, man.
And I didn't put on clothes the rest of the night.
Nah, you were walking around in fucking boxers and a helmet for
red panties.
Yeah, red panties. Yeah, I had to get rid of those because every time I wore them and Rolo got a glimpse, he's like, "Ain't those the ones you were wearing that night?"
The red panty night. We all hit the jackpot that night.
Oh yeah.
You guys tried to drown me in my gladiator helmet.
That was awesome. That was the drowning part, but you know.
I was looking at it the other day, as a matter of fact, and it was all bent up.
The helmet?
The helmet. From being drug across the floor. Yeah.
I remember those. You're dragging it. It's like.
I'm gonna wear one of those for Fight to Win.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna come out with it.
You wanna do Fight to Win?
Yeah, eventually. Got to, man.
I know, right? Dude, that's kind of, you get kind of nervous or nerve-wracked thinking about that shit a little bit?
A little bit.
I do, but
for me, I focus on like being a brand new white belt and like seeing our team up there.
Yeah, that's true.
And thinking like, how cool is that? Like, at this stage of life, you could be on a stage performing, having a walkout song or whatever. So I try and like just focus on that. Like, do I want a walkout song or not? You know? Yeah, you just have fun with it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to whose jujitsu is better in that moment or not anyway. So
certainly better than dancing on your countertop in your underwear, right?
I made progress, man. Boy. Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so. We should challenge each other on that stage.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want the crucifix. I was
DeBoa versus DeBoa. Dude, I don't even know how that happened today, but that was awesome.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, was that yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wait, what happened? What'd I miss?
So I was like, so I wasn't all the way in side control, but definitely had like top pressure going, like a lot of control.
Top pressure / side control.
Yeah, sort of, but it wasn't side control because Chris had gotten one of my lapels with his foot. It was your foot, right?
Yeah, so I had. You hear me? Oh, oops,
yeah,
sorry.
That's better.
So I had your lapel behind your arm extended out, and then I had my foot inside the lapel, so I was extending past your shoulder or underneath your armpit and shoulder, and then out past it. So it was a top pressure, but I had the one grip there where I was pushing out with the lapel behind your back, and then I think I had a sleeve grip on the other. Maybe on your like left hand, I think.
Yeah, you did.
I had the sleeve grip on the left hand, but anyways, so he has the top pressure, and he's like pressuring down.
Now, let me jump in right there, because usually when Chris does that defense, I'm like, well, it's a race. It's a race for him to get me off of him or to the cutter choke. So I went for the cutter choke, and then now...
Yeah, so you're positioning yourself for the cutter choke, but I had that sleeve grip, and somehow with my other leg, the leg that I didn't have extended on your lapel, with the other leg, I kind of shimmied and brought it around the backside of your arm. So I'm essentially now I've got your lapel behind your arm, extending you up this way, and then my top leg is over this, and my bottom leg is underneath it. And then from there, it kind of ended up where we were like sitting. We were both kind of sitting, like almost looking at each other. And I just shimmied around, and I went straight to a crucifix.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, let me, AKA the shimmying and looking at each other. I was already in a crucifix pretty much at that time.
Right.
So as he's looking at me, it's one of those moments that I'm stuck. Just
right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it was crazy how it all went down. And we tried to recreate it. There was no recreation.
Well, you explained it really good right there, because in the moment I was giving you a lot of credit actually, because you elevated my arm back with the lapel.
Right.
I know you did that.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I don't know how you snuck in the other leg.
And that's where I'm getting like, because I know it wasn't just as simple as me extending out and around. It was somewhere along in the movement where you were on your transition to the cutter choke.
Yeah. As
you were moving, that's where I caught your arm, but I wasn't exactly sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish we had that shit on video, because that would have been a cool one to like run back and look at.
That would have been cool. But on Fight to Win, so that's the risk, right? So I try not to focus on the possibility of that happening. I just focus on the walkout song, because man, that's the last thing you want to happen on stage.
Oh yeah.
Dude, think about it too. Like that walkout song is a lot, right? I mean, you want to come out to something that's good, but then you also like, you don't want to fuck up. You come out to a hype song, and then you fucking get your ass destroyed in like 20 seconds, and then it's like, man, you just wasted that good ass song.
Yeah. It's true though. Like it's a lot of pressure. Like you can't, like, it can't be too hyped. It can't be like, fuck them up, kill them all, fuck them up, kill them all. And then you getting a crucifix where you're just staring at your team,
Yeah.
looking for pointers.
You either set yourself up to look really good or really bad, right?
So the whole time you're claiming, kill it, be killed, kill it, be killed. You go out there, you pull guard.
Yeah.
You just sit there.
Sit there. Freeze.
Scoot, butt scooting after. Come on.
Nah, but it's one of those things like, just got to do it, right? Like
Right.
we're the belt level. It's an opportunity and hopefully it goes well. You
Yeah.
know? Should.
Yeah, I mean, we, it's so weird to think now it's been like 6 years
I know.
that we've been training, right? And then it's weird because we're in a gym, not that it's weird we're in a gym that's competitive, but it's weird being in a gym that's competitive where it's like that's one of those steps. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like and like you're kind of saying, it's almost like a rite of passage, right? We got to that purple belt. We've had quite a few purple belts and above compete in Fight to Win from our gym.
Yeah.
And so, it's coming from competitive background, playing basketball for you and any other sport. B, did you play sports?
I ran track in 8th grade.
All right, there you go. And then you ran them streets.
That's
That's
right.
ran
a
them
sport.
streets,
That's a
man.
sport. But
Yeah,
I mean,
no
any
time
of
for
those.
sport.
I'm making money. I ain't trying to play games.
How does that selection process work for Fight to Win? Is that like a lottery?
I think you just apply.
I think pretty much like if we told Andrew that we wanted to go for it, then he would say okay, and then he would let them know that, hey, I've got a purple belt that wants to go for it, that wants to fight. If you can find him somebody, he's never had a match, or he's this weight, that weight, and then really you would decide, like, would you go? I wouldn't go no-gi. There's no way I'd do a no-gi.
Man, I wouldn't go no-gi against a white belt, man.
Right? Dude, like Brian, like for him being a white belt,
Yeah.
but like kind of with him working all this dark art shit, dude, he's one of those guys that, like you said, in a no-gi, he would grab your leg and he could fuck it up already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he doesn't even train no-gi,
hmm
but he could do it. He's like a sponge, man.
Yeah, he is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he is. I'm like, I don't want to give him any pointers because I need them.
Dude, well, you know how it is, right? I mean, that's kind of, we got our asses beat all the time, but we've always kind of like coached a little more along the way with the people below us. He's one of those guys that I've coached and helped Will coach so much in the last 5 months, 6 months, like even it was just the three of us for a long time, know, and he just picks stuff up from like the first time I've trained with him to now. It's just like, holy shit, he's about there if he's not already, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he feels pretty good for
I wish we
belt.
could give him one of those belt beat downs though.
How's he been getting his stripes then? Is it just through Will? Will gives Professor
So he got stripes from Andrew, and then he's just been kind of stuck where he's at. You know what I mean?
So he's due then.
Probably. I don't know.
I mean, so it's like there's probably this whole criteria of when somebody's a blue belt, which I don't claim to know that, but I do know when I'm rolling with people, I could tell of the colored belt, like if they're towards the beginning or towards the end.
Right.
Yeah.
He's for sure towards the end, you know?
Yeah, we just need to get that super fight set up now because I'm trying to get those odds because I got a white belt that's going to beat a blue belt. So
Oh, did Wes get his blue belt?
yeah, he's got his blue belt.
Oh, he did get his blue belt. That's right. Huh?
That's the one thing that kind of sucks about COVID and where you choose to train.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering is like how is he ever going to get a promotion? I mean, it's got to be Will that says.
Well, yeah, so that's kind of from what I've kind of deducted, and I've thought about that too, right? I think like, we roll with majority with Will as our upper belt, kind of our main coach for our group, and he talks to or he stays in communication with Andrew all the time. And then Andrew, he'll watch us when he's on the side. He sees us when, we're training and stuff. So I think too, just the fact that he knows who's putting in time, You know what I mean? And we've never really stopped putting in time, permitting, right? I mean, obviously this last month was what it was.
Yeah.
You know, for everybody. You know what I mean?
That's something. I just started to feel almost like a hint of being normal, feeling normal again. And then we went back into quarantine and then I took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I mean, I haven't heard Brian, like, he doesn't seem to have an aura of caring about that, right? You know, like, I think he's just trying to do jujitsu and learn it. And the belt stuff, it'll take care of itself, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, whatever. I'd rather be people thinking, oh, is that a he's like a brown belt, isn't he? Like, and be wearing a purple rather than like wearing a brown.
Right.
Being like, you know, he's kind of more like a purple
instead
belt.
Instead of them saying he's a brown belt,
Yeah.
they're saying like, oh man, like it's fucking legit, you know?
Yeah.
And I like that feel. I've said that. I've talked to B about that and stuff too. I always like, that's one of those little like those like hidden chips on my shoulders that I always carry, you know, is like when I hear people bragging on other people, and I'm always like, okay, that's fine. Talk about it. I do. I always, I do. I always take it personally, like those little things.
Mental note.
You hear somebody like, man, Dre Day, he's been looking really good lately, and I'm like, yeah, okay, okay, I'll remember that. You know,
I don't know when the last time you heard that was though.
All the time.
Not only does he take it personally against you, but he takes it personally against the person who's saying it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
everybody's on his hit list.
Yep. I'll make you remember my name. You know?
I mean, just before we went in this quarantine, it was one of those moments where, like, man, things were really connecting well.
Right.
And a lot of areas that I was not very good at, too. And then we have this. And it kind of brings me to what I was thinking about in terms of, like, belts and things like that. It's just, that's just how jiu-jitsu goes. Yeah. Like, you go through a stage, and you're not going to promote. And then, so what?
Yeah,
because they're still training.
Yep, exactly.
You know,
shit. I mean, along those lines too, right? Like, I don't know, my stripe fell off of my purple belt like a while ago. You know what I mean? It's like I know I have a stripe, but then I stopped thinking about it in those terms. It's just I'm just a purple belt, and then just like I went to wash my belt because I hadn't washed it in a while, you know, and I went to wash it, and I was like, oh, what if my oh wait, I don't have it, but wait. Don't I have a stripe? You know, and then I was like, yeah, I do have a stripe, but I don't have you know what I mean?
I don't.
It's just purple belt, you know?
Yeah. I think, you know, like we were joking about B, like we're as a white belt, man, I think for at least us three here, I feel comfortable saying like those stripes meant a lot.
Yeah.
You know, a lot. And then I don't know, somewhere in like blue belt for me, like, I don't say it didn't mean a lot. I was glad to have professors' recognition. That's how I looked at it. Like always recognizing me in some way, and that's what it is. But as far as like, you know, you can't help but notice that when that stripe is put on your belt, that day went the way it already went.
Yeah, right.
Or it goes the way it's going to go the next day, regardless.
Yeah. I think at white belt, it matters most because you're in a state that you don't really know anything and everybody's beating you up all the time. So you kind of need that little confirmation just to keep pushing you to go forward, you know?
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I don't know. It's real weird, the different stages that your mind goes through. Mm-hmm. I'm real curious about what the next one's going to be.
Yeah, right. And that's a good point too. Just thinking of that, we only know up to a point. You know what I mean? Yeah. We only know up to purple so far. You only know up to blue. Mm-hmm. And it is as you go along, you keep creating in your head, kind of like you said, knowing. I don't know if that guy's a blue belt. I can't say, hey, you're a blue belt, but I know rolling with somebody, if they're there, depending on movement and what's going on, you kind of have an idea. You know what I mean?
And for upper belts too.
Right.
Like I can't really call what all the criteria is, but when I'm rolling with somebody, if they're a brown belt, I could be like, wow, you feel like a black belt. Right. You know? I
wonder if that urge comes back or the excitement comes back at brown when you're getting ready to transition to black.
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I I am more like every day now going in, I feel like kind of that excitement more so than I did. Like at the end of blue, I was kind of pressuring myself in the mental aspect of like, I know I'm close to purple. Like, when will it be there? When is it going to happen? And then once purple happened, now it's like, for X amount of time, I don't got shit to worry about. I just got to train. You know what I mean? Like
for a long time.
For a long, long time. I just have to train, and that's all you're going to focus on. But now, like with that idea, and I guess also too, it's a freshening, like a fresh group, new group, like training where we did in the mornings, or for me in the mornings, majority the last 6 years, I always liked. Now it's a different group. Lately we've been focusing on different things, which is cool because we do need to add that stuff to our game. But even with that, like new group of people, same but different, right? I mean, because we've all trained together for a long time.
Yeah.
But now we also throw in, like Mark, I hadn't trained with a lot consistently. Will, I had trained with, but it was sporadic. You know what I mean? It would be like on an open mat, or maybe like once or twice over a given period of time, and then I'd see him occasionally. Now it's like 6 months of basically 3 days a week, so especially with somebody his size, that to me gives me that, like, right there in itself is like a challenge every day. I'm coming in, I know, okay, this guy's bigger than me. Like, I have to do this. I can't let this happen. So it's that constant, like, just always learning, always grinding. I'm getting the shit kicked out of me all the time. You know what I mean? But that's fine. Like, that's what we do. You know what I mean? We all are getting beat up, you know?
It's funny. I hadn't factored in that thought that you just did, though, with, I'm at the beginning of the belt. Are we, though? It's like, it's been over a year, I think now.
Right. But it's just.
But I know what you mean. I mean, I was thinking about that, but I never factored it into my mindset right now of why for me it's just, well, am I training today or am I not training today? And that's really the end of it. Like, the days that I could say, yes, I'm training today are good days. And the days I'm not training are bad days.
Yeah.
And that's as far as my thought lets me go. But I didn't think about that because I know at the end of blue belt, I think probably what's accurate is, for me at least, is when I stop feeling like that belt color, then it starts coming into my mind where it's like, okay, when I was at the end of blue belt, it's like, well, I'm giving purple belts a run for their money more times than not now, so now it feels funny to wear this belt a little bit. And then you start noticing the time and the stripes, and then maybe there's more of that expectation. But yeah, I don't even have it in my zone of thought right now, but I'll be curious to see, as I don't even know the time frame we are supposed to be purple belts, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard or seen or read, 2, 3 years, 4 years, or whatever. But
well, if it's 2, I'm way behind. Right now.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, if it can't be 2 for me. I know I'm not on that clip. You know what I mean? And whatever. I think, and also like information like that, it's where you're getting that information from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you go to a McDojo, maybe we are halfway there. Or maybe we're, what I mean? Whatever. But again, that's not the key, right? I mean, it's not, it's just, it's weird though. It is weird, like, to think, like, where are we at on the hierarchy? And dude, even for that, like, saying that I'm a 1-stripe purple belt, if that's the case, like, I feel like I could be a better 1-stripe purple belt. I always feel like whatever my rank is, I could always be better at that rank. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just one of those weird things because actually, I don't know who's still in the ranks. Like, I'm kind of like out of the loop, but there's some guys that I was thinking when I trained with, like, man, they definitely hit that other level type game and have been able to maintain it. This isn't like, oh, they're just on a hot streak or anything like that. So anyway, for me, I think once you hit that is when you're already at the next level. You just need to be recognized for it.
Well, and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that like example is like today rolling with a purple belt that was a purple belt when we started training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you roll with him today where I'm a purple belt and he's still a purple belt. Now, granted, there's levels to that shit, obviously, but for me, it's always nice to now roll with somebody like that, and I can tell where I've progressed because I can play back replays over years where like this other person has definitely whooped my ass repeatedly, and it's not like I got the better of them today, but the thing is certain areas, certain techniques, my reaction is better. I'm not as compromised the whole time, or this, that, or the other. There's so many alternatives or variables, right?
Yeah.
That you can judge it off of. Like, it's not winning the round is not winning the round. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to win, or I don't need to like submit somebody. And I think that specifically, especially with higher level people, like if I can go a whole round with a brown belt and not get choked out, I've won in my mind, right? Because I've appropriately defended, especially because most of the time I'm going to be in a defensive scenario, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of like those small improvements like that. But back to the point of, it's just cool to be able to roll with another purple belt that I know is a legit purple belt, and they've been showing me that for years and years. And then you can come along and show improvement in the same breath. I mean, they're getting better as well, right?
Yeah.
But we've also gotten better, and it's nice. I mean, that touches even like rolling with Will, where, now there's a lot of times where he's putting on all the pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
recognizing that improvement.
Yeah, and that in itself is a recognition for us, right? Like,
He watches this and he's, they
okay.
think I'm putting on all the pressure. Is that what they think?
Let me clarify. He's putting on more pressure, right?
I tell you guys what, man, coming back from this long ass stretch of not training at all, everybody feels different, man.
Yeah,
it freaking sucks for me right now.
Yeah. Good kind of suck or bad kind of suck?
Good kind of suck because it motivates me. Like it's really glaring to me.
It pushes you
how
though,
big
right?
the gap is. The gap has grown. So.
Yeah, it pushes you for sure.
Yeah, it pushes me. So yeah, I mean, I think I committed to myself that if you guys are training, I'm gonna train.
Nice.
And just stop making up excuses.
Yeah.
But even though like today, I don't know, like, so is it better to just be a punching bag that day or just not train,
No,
like,
punching bag.
Punching bag.
I go punching bag every day of the week. At least that's my opinion.
Because that's how I felt at the end. I was just like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't even lift my arms anymore, man. But
I'm a big fan of punching bag. I mean, rarely do I go in there and feel like I represented everything my ego thought I should.
I did exactly what I wanted to do today.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything was flawless.
I mean, it's so impossible. I mean, really, when you boil it down, it's so impossible because there's people that have trained longer than you. There's people that have trained the same amount as you. And then there's people that are having good days and you're having a bad day. And then there's people working on stuff that's their weakness.
Right.
And you're working on a strength that day. There's just so many variables.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I said it on a different podcast. The one thing that COVID showed me 100% is I just want to do jujitsu.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's crappy jujitsu. I don't care if I'm in a valley and I'm just down there. I just want to do jujitsu.
Being in the gym.
Just being in the gym. And it may take a lot long. I don't know. And I'm not pretending to know enough. Like I only know up to a certain point, and in my own mind, I sound like I'm lying to say I know anything, right? But I think I know up to a certain point. But I'd rather it take, me being a punching bag and learning some techniques from being a punching bag that takes 2 years instead of maybe one than not being there at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, everybody's had the moment where a bunch of stuff clicks all at once. That's worth it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
I mean, we've all had it at some point.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, you can't say you're still waiting. You're waiting now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you were off. But I remember when we were both blue belts and we were basically like both 2-stripe blue belts, and you were working that spider guard game all the time, there was a lot of shit you did that gave me a lot of fucking trouble. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just, don't look at it in the sense of like, I'm still trying to find that. Yeah. It's just you obviously had a lot of time off. Yeah. But I mean, it's like riding a bike, right? You know, or so they say. Yeah,
like I was telling you guys, if there was solid jiu-jitsu in South Carolina, I think that would have been a done deal, man.
Yeah. I mean, when you said that, it kind of goes back to my same point. Like, I don't know all your reasonings and the hierarchy and stuff, but like when I asked you about what gyms were there, you mentioned there were gyms. I was like, shitty jiu-jitsu is better than no jiu-jitsu. You know, like, I mean, I've trained different places and stuff. Yeah. And you know, our gym is pretty strong and legitimate. I really do believe that, not just because I train there, because I've got to experience different gyms as well. But I also know I could survive training at one of those gyms, because what really stuck out to me about whatever level that they were at is they're getting better. Yeah. And they're learning jujitsu. It just might not be on the same pace, but I'd way rather be in that boat than not training.
Yeah, I think their big school there was Gracie Baja, and ever since I heard that stupid chant,
you do not. If you, oh God, no.
Yeah, ever since I heard that chant, I like, it rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, I'm never gonna train a Gracie Baja.
It's weird though, because I mean, like that's some joking, talking shit right there over the chant. I mean, Gracie Baja is legit.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
They've got some legit fucking black belts. Oh, yeah. And I mean, all the way, not just black belts, all the way up. They've got a legit school and a system. But yes, that freaking chant.
Yeah, that freaking chant.
I think it's why they do it though. I mean, like going back to basketball, I used to love going into other gyms or other away games. Like, I think I was the exact opposite of most players. I used to love going to the away games because I love the hate so much more than I love the love.
No, I love that feel. I love performing in that.
In that turmoil, in that chaos. But that's what that reminds me of. It's like there's a lot of hate for you. Like in the love of their chant for their guy, there's a lot of hate for you.
Yeah.
It just makes it fun.
And that's where in sports, like I said, like that chip on the shoulder, that's where I carry that from. Like, I revel, especially in a competition atmosphere. It doesn't mean you always win, right? But I relish or enjoy that kind of, the cards are stacked or the deck stacked against you. Or you're on the road, you're the underdog, or I really enjoy shutting other people up. That's like the especially in sports, right? The greatest feeling in the world is when you hear the other team talking shit or the other team cheering section talking shit, and you shut them up, you send them home and they can't say shit because of what you did. There's nothing greater than that. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking love revenge.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like if you imagine being part of that team and being part of that chant too. Like, it has its place and it's very positive for them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if we were a part of it,
I couldn't see myself doing the chant.
Oh, if we were a part of it, like if it would have been Gracie Baja that was 2 minutes away from my house, I mean, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have joined, and maybe that's what it would have been.
You only know what you know.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
And if you're a part of it, dude, of course, especially there's got to be something to say when you go to like a tournament and you literally have like 45% of the crowd is your group. You know, of course you can cheer like that.
They're a big school, man.
Yeah, they really have tons of people.
Doesn't Pushesha, isn't he one of the big guys out of there?
Is he Gracie Baja? I don't know.
He's Baja.
I know, like Ralph Gracie, right?
Ricardo.
Yeah, Ricardo. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu. What a fun thing.
Yeah. But anyway, my point to the South Carolina thing, I don't know. There's gyms there, man. You could train.
Yeah. There's actually, so like,
some places aren't gyms.
Towards the end, because when we got there, you know, it was overwhelming. Got to see the kids again, and you know, it felt like home because we were all together. It wasn't about South Carolina. It was just about the family being together. And so it was something, it filled that void that had been missing for a long time. And then about like the 5th day there, going to all the different relatives' house and everything, it dawned on me the reason why we left California,
Which
So-
is
it's a constant strain. You're always obligated to go to this person's house and that person's house, and the wives are always cooking, the men are always drinking, and they eat the fattiest foods, and it's just not a healthy lifestyle all around.
Fun though.
It's fun. Yeah, it's definitely fun. But when you calculate like the average weight of the dudes there are, about 250 and the women are about 200, it's eventually it'll catch up, and then, there's just no coming back out of it. So I'd rather keep my distance.
yeah. I don't want to see you go.
Yeah.
I mean, all my comments are were selfless. You know what I mean? Like, if I had my way, I was like,
Yeah.
I almost, when you went out, I was like, oh man, he's going to come back, but he's going to leave, because I was thinking of the things that tie you to your community and stuff. And, I was thinking about my own, you can only think of life how you have life, right? But I'm like, I have so much, like, I can't just up and leave.
Right.
I can't do that, but you could do that. And I was like, because you could do that, I was like, he probably will.
It's possible.
You know what, man? Honestly, like, that thought didn't even cross my mind.
Are you serious?
No. Which is like looking at it now and like hearing you talk about it, like there's like bing, 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 bing. Yeah, of course. That seems like the natural progression. But at the time, I almost looked at it. And so I'll say from my perspective, I looked at it like, yeah, I knew you were missing the girls. Obviously, that's no secret. But I also looked at it like, I thought you guys were, like you said, you could pick up and go, no problem. But I also thought you guys are pretty rooted here. Your parents, your brother, other family as well.
Yeah.
So that's why in my mind, I didn't ever really think about like, oh, this could be one of those like 50-50 deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about your daughters, man.
Exactly.
They both are in the same spot.
No, I agree. And I mean, they're already telling us they want to move to Oklahoma. I mean, that's, they've been saying that for years. So it's
my eyes are glazing over. I'm like, this dude's saying he's leaving Oklahoma
and
now
I'm
too.
like, no, we're not. That's the thing.
Oh, good.
So that's from my perspective, like, but South Carolina is different. Right. You guys weren't from there. It's not like you moved away from there.
Yeah, you don't want to be there.
I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Kimberly does not want to go back. We know what's there, so it is different. But I was looking at it skewed a little bit. I'm looking at it from that kind of aspect where it's like, well, why the fuck would you want to move to South Carolina?
I mean, that's also true.
Yeah.
That is also. But I mean, when you get older, though,
I mean, family is.
I mean, I literally could live anywhere as long as my family was with.
Yeah.
And jujitsu.
And jujitsu. Yeah. Even shitty jujitsu.
And I'll tell you this much: there's actually. You give me a majority of family, and I would say I would almost choose jujitsu over probably 80% of family.
You guys know my situation.
Yeah, so it's pretty high up on the list, jujitsu.
Yeah, it's definitely high up on the list for me too, man. That was, like I said, if there was a DeBoa 2 over there,
hey man, get your black belt. Do that. Do that.
Yeah.
And so the other thing that's stuck out to me though is when we were talking. And you said you would have liked to at least be a brown belt before you left.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I said, yeah, man, that would definitely be good.
That might be forever, though.
I mean, how about purple, right? At least till purple.
I'm still kind of doubtful about purple right now, man.
Yeah, string some days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, that's kind of what you were saying earlier with like, oh, this person who was a purple the only way they could still be a purple when we started is because there were some gaps in training. And that is the beauty of jiu-jitsu, like, is if you put in the time, you're going to advance. Right. Now, how it's going to look and all of that, that's all a different thing. But that's the one thing, that's why, like I said, like, I would rather be a punching bag every day. Because at the end of 365 of those punching bag days, I'm going to be a different, stronger practitioner.
Yeah.
Well, and think about the difference of the guy that's like I'll just say like a 4-year blue belt, that it's because they've had to go through this, that, or the other, compared to a 4-year blue belt who's been there for 4 years, training 3 days a week or 4 days or maybe only 2, but for some reason it's just not clicking. Whatever it is doesn't carry over all the way. That progression is still off a little bit. You know what I mean? You can at least take heed in the fact that, yeah, you didn't intentionally take all this time off. It's not like you're not just catching blue belt. You know, it's not like everything is overwhelming you. It's just you had shit that's happened to like where you couldn't train.
That's part of life too. You know, like even this, it's a smaller spectrum, or anyway, it's not the right word. Anyway, it's a smaller example, but this last month, there have been things that have stopped all of us from training.
Derailed everything.
Yeah, as much as we wanted to.
How crazy is that too? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off again. But going to that, how crazy is that, right? Like we were talking a little bit ago, like we went December, it was like the start of, like it started with my wife getting COVID, and that immediate fear of like, oh shit, like this, I don't want it because of me, it's going to spread to everybody else. And then everybody's going to get it. And now training is going to get derailed, right?
Yeah.
But then it went from me, and then it cycled through to where you had your issues with it.
Yeah.
You know, and it ended up becoming like a fucking month thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, mine's so bad that coming back was like, you have those real natural thoughts of like, do I know how to do this anymore? You know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I mean, I think the point of it though is, I think that's the part of the beauty of what I was talking about is, yeah, we get derailed, but then when we start going days again, we improve again, you know, and as long as we're making that constant effort based on whatever our life circumstance looks like to do that. I don't even know if it's about getting better though, right? I think it's more just like we've chosen this way of life, and that's just one of the symptoms. You get better.
This is the way.
This is a side
Right? Exactly.
That's pretty much what it is.
It's pretty much what it is. But it's nice to know that you're going to get better even if you go and you don't understand a thing. Like, I'm training basketball with Jaden right now because he really wants to make the team. And I'm working on a lot of stuff for him that when it clicks, it's going to it's going to make a difference. But all of those things make him worse right now. And he does not have the foresight to understand that he's getting better. Right. It's like, oh, but like his shot, he was making tremendous progress, starting to get excited about it. And then we moved to free throws and I noticed a hitch. And I'm like, we've got to fix that hitch, which takes us all the way back to square one again in his mind. Right. But what he doesn't know that I know is you don't lose all that other stuff. When this particular piece gets fixed, your free throw percentage is going to jump 10 to 20%, which is huge. Yeah. And it will never do that if you're practicing the wrong way, right? As long as you practice the wrong way, you will continue to get that result. Anyway, all that aside, jiu-jitsu to me is like that, you know, where it's like, yeah, I was derailed, but now I'm going to string together a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is before the next injury or the next thing. And then I'm going to make some progress. You don't lose it. It becomes rusty. It becomes unusable until you get back in the groove again. Yeah. And then it comes back.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day in the terms of like, it's like the puzzle, right? You know, you start out with like the 4-piece puzzle. You get the 4-piece puzzle put together. You go to like an 8-piece puzzle, you know, and you keep going. But then you get up to like the 10,000-piece puzzle. Well, you don't do 90% of the 10,000 piece puzzle, and then you get this piece that's not fitting. Fuck it. And then you just tear up the whole puzzle. Just restart. No, you take that piece away and you start looking again for the piece that fits. You know what I mean? Until before you know it, all those little progress, one piece at a time, and then you sit back and however long it takes you to complete it, now the puzzle's complete. Yeah. It doesn't just happen. It's not like you just throw it out there and boom, it's done, or you don't get one piece and you just throw the puzzle away because you can't put it together.
Right.
Well, I also think too, like, what's our best prognosis? The very best one. Well, our very best one is we get to black belt and we're going to be the older, crustier, new black belts. Okay. Versus like take somebody like Tyson, who is young, athletic, got to a black belt pretty quickly in age, and is continuing to grow that knowledge base. Two different boats.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like when you really put it on the scale of things of like, how good am I at jujitsu? Well, we're not going to ever be that good, to be honest. You know, we're going to get better, and we're going to probably have a lot of like, you know, I'm not talking bad about any black belt on the planet. You know, they're killers to almost anybody. But as far as like a community of jujitsu, you know, like that prognosis isn't, you know, we're not superstars at the end of that.
Well, yeah, just getting a black belt's not the be all end all, right? It's not, you know, not every black belt is created equal, the same as everybody getting to that point. You know, it's not like you get there and then it's just, okay, that's it. We learned everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's levels.
There's levels, and then there's like, I mean, we started late.
For sure.
We're working against a lot of things, you know, like we're learning jujitsu and our physical abilities are lessening every single year.
Yeah.
And there's a reason people retire out of professional sports mid 30s, early 40s, right?
Yeah. They just can't perform anymore.
Cannot perform. So, you know, the chances of somebody who has all the skill and talent in the world, pick it, you know, give him Michael Jordan's talent and skill in a 40-year-old body. Your prognosis is only so good.
Right.
You know, and I don't mean that negatively to us. I
That's
think
just a fact of life.
it's a fact of life. So in the end, I mean, at every stage of this, we're going to have this suck feeling,
Yeah.
you know, but which kind of day do we choose? You know, the punching bag where, yeah, you know what, we are, but like when you compare yourself to someone who doesn't train, but I venture to imagine that as a black belt, I haven't factored in the age. What would the age be? Let's just say it's 10 years. So 46, a black belt at 46, I'm guessing some purple belts are going to give me a really, really, really rough time.
Yeah. Especially the young athletic ones.
Yeah. And that's what it is, you know, but to me, it's like we've just chosen a whole different way of life. And to me, like, it's not even about getting better to go a bunch of days in a row. Those are better days.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but
any day you can get in is a better day than not getting in. You know what I mean? That's for sure.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But personally, I mean, I think early on, I did have kind of like a drive to like, oh, I could get a championship, or I could do some things, or really get good at this or that. And it's not to say it's not true. Not to say it can't happen. I'm not saying I won't try at some point either, you know? But part of that trying is knowing what we're here for. And I'm not here for, if I wanted medals, I could buy as many medals
It's a paperweight
as I want, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not here for that.
Right.
If it happens, it happens. And I'm not kidding myself that's like, you can get one by going with the approach of, if it happens, it happens. But, you know, you train every day, you do what your body can handle every day. And then when it comes time to make that choice of, do I want to go for this tournament? You'd make the choice. You say yes or no, you know? And sometimes I've competed in lots of tournaments where it's like, I don't think I'm good enough, but I'm going to compete anyway because it's fun.
Right.
You know? And that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents on all of it. But, man, just get back in there.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, man. And you guys are right. You know, any day is better with training in it. So.
Any day training is always better, you know? I mean,
especially, it's kind of cool too, where like what I like about our little group now is there's different approaches to everything, different styles to everything. but like that moment we had where it was like, man, dude, how did you get that? And we both were just as interested in finding the answer out. And it's not always about like, it's not even about that. It's like we rolled and this interesting thing happened. So let's see if we can figure it out.
Right.
And I think we train a lot more on that level now than ever before.
Yeah. Well, and I was, talking to Will, really about, you start seeing too, as here we are at purple belt or blue belt, that the more you train, either way, it doesn't matter the belt level, but you start having the understanding of the vernacular on top of seeing the position in your head and being able to kind of walk through it in your own mind just as much as if we were on the mat, being able to do it, right? And that's where you can really tell you're absorbing it, if you're learning it. And then when we talked about it, like trying to teach it, right? If I'm trying to teach you a certain technique, you have to make sure that you know it in order to be able to teach it correctly, right? If you're missing steps, now you're not teaching it correctly, and then as it gets handed out, it's not correct, So
right.
It keeps you in check as far as your knowledge and teaching goes hand in hand with it, and it's the same, as a whole, right? Just I start thinking now when I think about jiu-jitsu in my own personal time or at the house or whenever, I can kind of think of the position. I can understand terminology or phrasing of that, grabbing this or doing this out of that position, or somebody says, look for this, you can understand it. And that changes too the more you train. You know what I mean? That builds the more you train. And my understanding on that stuff, as you keep going, it's going to keep improving, right? So my understanding now at purple belt is much more than it was at blue and definitely at white.
And imagine how much more it's going to grow.
Yeah.
But that's a good point too. Like where you talk about like this last session when I was out and came back, you were essentially teaching me all the stuff that we had gone over. And two things came to my mind in that moment. The first one is, something you said and that jogged my mind of that is the only reason I recognize that as a thing, first of all, because it's like not finally, but in some ways finally realize like this thing's way bigger than me. There are people who are way better at different parts of this game or all parts of this game or whatever. But it's like you learn from who you can learn from. Yeah. The other thing though that jumped out about me is I specifically one time saw two people that were closely matched, I think, in terms of time and grade in their belt, but the one got promoted first. And I was part of a class where the one who got it promoted to purple was teaching, and the other one was being unhelpful, in terms of throwing out questions and scenario. It's like to throw the person instead of, what can I get out of this?
You mean they were being spiteful?
I don't think they were. It didn't hit me as a negative energy. What it really hit me as is jealousy, but not the kind of nastiness jealousy, but like I have a need in me right now. So everybody else here knows that I'm at this level.
Or that person's stability, you're questioning that stability a little bit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you just got promoted, but you still don't know everything.
Yeah, it was kind of like more like that. Whereas like for me, it was a blue belt to purple belt promotion. And I'm pretty sure, no, I was a blue belt for sure. And this other person was a blue belt. And I remember just thinking like, it is new and unique that this new person is teaching. It was also brand new. Like until you get to the end of blue belt, maybe, and purple belt, you don't really have the experience. Oh, I've got two.
You want that one?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Until you get to the end of blue belt, I think you don't actually have the experience of people teaching. Right? You have teachers that taught you, but new people aren't brought into the fold. So I think that was one of the first moments for me. And but I remember in that moment thinking, that's not right. It's not right for a lot of reasons. Number one, I think he was struggling to teach a little bit because I think it was his first time.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. So I didn't really like that.
Cheers,
but
B.
let me.
You didn't like that he was put in a position to teach?
No, I
know that the other guy was kind of questioning,
giving him a hard
making it a little bit of a.
Well, because to me, it's like, look, I don't want to use names. Like, if I use names, you guys would totally be clicking with me all at once. But I absolutely don't want to do that.
I've got an idea, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know what I mean?
Offline, I'll catch us up on it. But I remember in the moment thinking, like, number one, I need to respect that belt.
Right.
That's a purple belt showing me something.
Yeah.
The other thing is we're a team and this is his opportunity to learn more. Mm-hmm. And if I still go into this with eyes to see and ears to hear, I'm going to learn.
Right.
He's just fumbling through it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that mentality that what can you teach me? That's how I took it. Mm-hmm. Like it looked bad to me. Yeah. And in my mind, I was like, I don't want to be ever that. Yeah. So I'm going to switch how I think about it right now. Mm-hmm. And, it's kind of like practice, right? That person was teaching. I think looking back on it, I can't remember all of what was being taught in the specifics, but looking back on it, it's like, yeah, I've had a first day of teaching now. I've had a first day of teaching. Yeah. Right. I've had a first go at it and it is nerve wracking and stuff. But going back to the point, like you're showing, and it's like when you finally get to that spot of like everybody has something to show you, like Brian a couple of times, even, in training and stuff. Hey, did you ever think about this? Like, I don't take offense to that. No. And same thing, like I was saying, man, he can definitely, on these things that we're working, like he's put the time and the dedication and you can tell, you know what I mean? Because he is a white belt, but he can contribute on these things we've been doing that he's been working as much as I have. Like he can contribute, you know what I mean? Yeah, he fine-tuned a couple of things like 2 or 3 times last go around. And that's the thing though, like the group we have, that's what I like about it. The group we have, there was nobody sitting around trying to pull somebody else down. Yeah. Will included, he specifically, that's the thing, that's the difference, right? He specifically was like, that's a good point. I didn't even see that. I missed it. Yeah. So I think we're in a good spot there mentally. And the group we're in, I mean, I like it. I love it, man. It's good. We're doing, we're working the dark arts a little bit, which is amazing. Well, it's funny. Sorry. The approach that the group has taken are unpopular in my ego mind because it's a little bit different, but everybody's bringing so much to the table. Yeah. It really does come out really good. Like in terms of like you're talking about when you start to sit back and dissect and I start seeing like there's a dimension of my jujitsu mind that was opened, that was closed before. Yeah. And you'll start seeing, I mean, it's been amazing to me just in this little amount of time that I've started absorbing it. Because at first you don't absorb it. You're just kind of like, everything is like new, right? Mm-hmm. So you're like, everything is like a brand new thing. Now I'm kind of comfortable with a couple of these systems or a couple of things in the system. And it's crazy how, like you said, it unlocks the pathways where it's like, there are leg locks everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's not just in one position or 2 positions. Like when you really start looking at it, like opening that mindset or changing it, just tweaking it a little bit. And now not only do you have what we could do before, the capabilities of what we had before, now you're adding an entire new dictionary. Yeah. Or, you know what I mean? A whole new, set of volumes of information on top of that. So now you have more of a complete set. It's just adding to that information. Yeah. Well, it's crazy. And I just lost what I was going to say.
I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I was really hesitant at first, because me, especially with me, anything that has to do with legs, man.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it a lot. There's plus I wanted to start working X-Guard coming into this new year anyways. And those are excellent opportunities to get into it.
And that's what's crazy too. All this stuff, it ties in with some of those, like, for me, for my game especially, I had just started to getting to where I was really getting to X-Guard and starting to use X-Guard. Now I'm still in that process, but now I'm adding to, like, instead of just going this way, now we have a whole new rule or set of rules to play with. You know what I mean? It's
the
like
dark side of X-Guard.
Exactly. It's like dark X-Guard, dark reverse X,
Well, and that's kind of one of the things I was thinking too. It's like towards the end of training, it was like, I think I was in X or something. And then you guys started walking me through, how to, I forgot what that position is called where you get both legs.
Like the cross ashigari?
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys were walking me through. And I fumbled through it or whatever. And then Will made a comment that, well, for a rookie, that was pretty, pretty. But what was funny about it is I had that thought that you just said right there was something clicked, because it's like, well, the only way to do this is if you were to do it this way, but it's like these pieces start clicking together, and there's a lot more and everything. And, I sat and listened to what you guys went through. I don't know how many weeks that was in one class.
Yeah.
But when I walked away, I was like, I retained a lot of that.
And so that's where, like when I was talking to you the other day about it, right? It's like we've been kind of going over this stuff long enough now. Like just those one or two things that we go over, that was like all we did for a couple hours those first few days. And then you build onto that and build onto that. Now we've gotten to a point where it's like, me, Will, and Brian at least can kind of, we have like the idea of what we need to work, and you can almost turn it into a whole class now.
Yeah.
As opposed to where it's just a broken, let's just work this the whole time. Nobody knows what we're doing. Now it's like we can go into, let's work these drills. And then after that, we can work these techniques, or we can do a technique roll from this position. And then we can still get our rolls in, and we can still talk about all of it. You know what I mean? So it's cool how it's, especially like the building, watching it build from my perspective, going from literally like this was something that we just kind of talked about to now all of a sudden we're like, yeah, let's start doing this, or we're all in. And then like now we've added you, we've added B, we've added Mark, and like, we added in somebody new today as well. You start seeing it's kind of cool. We get like the momentum is slowly building up, and it's getting better the whole time. The more we all do it, everybody gets used to it, adjusted, and now we can all take this information. Not only can we tweak it between ourselves, like that's the best thing about it, right? Because we can all sit there, and a lot of it we're fumbling through, or we're learning it at kind of the same pace, and we can all come out better, you know what I mean? And we can all come out more thorough. And then as a group, if more people come in, or if we can go out, if say fucking everybody's vaccinated or this shit goes away, we can now go and we can start kind of helping out and pushing it out.
Something additional to add to the BOA. Yeah. That you, I was trying to figure out what it was I was trying to say completely. As I was sitting there listening to what you guys had done, number one, I was happy just to be back.
Right.
And I've always like through life, I've always like really pinpointed certain moments that are signature moments. And for Fight to Win was one of them, going to the first Fight to Win and seeing people go out, people I knew that lost, people I knew that won. It was just a good time and everything. But one of the things that really stuck out when we were watching like the higher levels, and we didn't have enough knowledge to know all of what was going on. But one thing I knew that I knew nothing about and literally had, because it was nothing that was ever taught ever, was the leg lock stuff. Mm-hmm. And when those upper belts started getting in those matches and rolling all over the Matt and I was just looking like, I don't know what they're doing. I
Is
know
it jujitsu?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
a different language, right?
Honestly, but
seriously.
that right there, though, that's exactly how I felt. Like, this is it jujitsu? You know? But then you fast forward, I'm coming back. I'm happy just to be back. And then one of the same guys, we're now purple belts, and you're teaching that system. And when you guys started talking about the escapes and the roles, it brought me back to that moment of like, and you just can't help but like, I don't know, proud is the right word, because it's not exactly the right word, but to take in that moment for a second and think of like all the space that was traveled to get from that beginning stage to this moment where my friend is now showing me something that we knew nothing about with the purple belt around his waist.
Right.
And I'm understanding it.
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly like I was saying over the time, right? The vocabulary, the being in the position, the understanding, right? That's over time, where now some of that stuff, it's easier for us to tell each other that kind of shit and have an actual understanding of it.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a question, I might actually be able to answer the question this time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy though. And I've really loved like, shit. Cause so it started like this group started, it was just, Will, Brian and I, and it started in Will's garage, and that was fucking 6 months ago, something like that. So like really from where it was there and watching Brian to where he was at from that point to now, knowing where I was at that point to at rolling with Will and Brian every day to now watching Will like going and rolling with Will and seeing him change his game based off of us also, you know what I mean? Because now he's using more, he has to do more in certain situations. So everybody's taking steps. And then we add in a couple new people, and now it's like instead of 3, we have 5. Now that knowledge gets moved around a little bit, and then as those people get comfortable, and we add a few more people, it's just it's awesome. You know, I mean, it's awesome to know that like, and the best part about it is we've all known each other too. It's not like something where it's just like we're throwing a hodgepodge together. You know, we've all trained together. We all have a familiarity already. So it's easier, like you said, it's easier for me to tell you, hey man, this is what we've been working. Where like if I was a lower level purple belt and you didn't know me and I'm trying to say, hey, did you ever think about this? You'd be like, oh yeah, but at the same time you're kind of like, I don't know this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just natural. I'm not saying you'd be like, I'm not going to listen to him, but you just have those kind of the camaraderie and the chemistry built. You know what I mean? It's much different.
Well, there's a lot of implicits in there. A lot of implicits. You know, the fact that like Will sitting there and then said, Chris, why don't you show Dre? Yeah. Like that's implicit to me that, oh, he's been picking this up and putting some details on it.
Right.
And but again, like, you know, you link up these different moments in life, and that one where I saw where it wasn't right, you know, it's like, I'm glad at that moment, because that was like, I don't know how long ago, 2 years ago, maybe even 3, taking that moment and like growing that muscle to where now it's like, you're in a spot to be able to learn, you know, and not only learn, but see the beauty of the moment. You know, because that was an appropriate time just to take stock real quick of, I remember a time where all 3 of us are sitting watching the stage.
Nothing's going in.
We were just there, happy to be there.
Do that thing. Do that thing. Yeah, he did it.
Yeah. And, you know, and in all honesty, 100% honesty, I walked into the BOA with that same level of knowledge because I did not know more. And now you're breaking it down and showing me. And that was a beautiful moment of, that's like what I'm talking about. Like, I pretty much suck. I know that, right? I mean, and I'm not being, you know, self-deprecating for no reason, but like, you know, I know what good jujitsu looks
Yeah.
like. I've been under a lot of it. You know?
Well, and think about it too. Even like this whole system, starting to work all this leg stuff. That's something that from training with Will, that over these few months and stuff, where we finally started talking, where he's like, "Hey, you need to start looking into this because I didn't do it at purple belt, and now I'm at brown belt, and I realize that I need to start doing this." And that's where, for me, I'm like, "Shit, you're absolutely right." And that's a realization point too, right? Like, especially hearing it from somebody that is a brown belt at his level, and he's saying to me, okay, now you need to start focusing on this as well. That establishes and that shows you kind of like, okay, so now we need to start focusing on more, right? Mm-hmm. We've done a good job here, and not like we know everything, but we always need to be expanding and improving. And then the same thing, like you were saying, with him asking me to show it, you know, he comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, are you comfortable, you know, showing this and talking about this?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck," you know, but I'm also like, yeah, because I do understand what we've been going over. But, and then the respect level, or that idea in my head comes in, where it's like, that's a good feeling to know that somebody, an upper level belt is asking me, "Hey, can you show this today?" But that also comes to the coaching thing, where I got to make sure when I'm saying it or teaching it that I'm remembering all those details, or I'm doing it correctly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And, dude, fucking jiu-jitsu is awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
yeah,
though. Like, when you
awesome.
combine all those pieces, because a moment ago I was talking about, you know, you had your teachers.
Yeah.
Well, Will has become a friend.
Yeah.
You know, but he's
friend, teacher, everything, right?
But he's definitely one of those ones that, like, we learned our jiu-jitsu directly through him.
Yeah.
At lots of moments, because he's one of the instructors.
And he was one of the, not just one of the instructors, he was one of the guys directly responsible for handing out ass beatings to me on the daily. You know what I mean? Not just one of those instructors, you know, there's like a handful of them when we can talk about those first couple of years.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got fucking smashed.
Slaughtered.
You know? I mean, we got fucking smashed. And again, that's what makes me smile even more now, is that same guy that at purple belt, when we were white belts, was just beating the shit out of us daily. Now here we are, fast forward 6 years later, high level brown belt. I got my purple belt, and now I've been working with him, and he's asking me, "Hey, do you want to show this?"
Yeah.
And that it's that passing down of knowledge, and then the passing down of respect, and then, like you said, you seeing it happen where he's asking me, that goes out beyond just him asking me. It's other people noticing it, right? Mm-hmm. And then if I give you the knowledge, or we all give each other the knowledge, then we can do that same thing to other people. Right. It's so crazy. Like, it's this waterfall of fucking awesomeness. You know what I mean?
It was just like any other random morning, right? Like, okay, I'm walking in here. But that's the thing. That's, I think, what I'm talking about with, like, jiu-jitsu and the journey. Like, you'll have these just very bright, brilliant moments. And that was one of them. Like, I'm sure I had a regular face on it, but all that was going through my head, like, dude, this is the slaughter of white belts handing the baton over to you. And we've had our battles to the point that the ego has fluttered out of it. Right. To all I want to do is learn. And then the beauty of it is, like, you're teaching something that I knew nothing about. And it was one of those moments in the very beginning that I knew nothing about, I knew nothing about it. I was like, I can't wait until I know what these guys are doing, or I'm able to do it. And that, for me, now going back selfish in that moment, outside of all that, noticing all of that, then I started getting giddy happy inside of, like, I'm learning it.
Mm-hmm. I learned something today.
No, I mean, it's like, it's you're true. At this stage of, like, I was picturing, I mean, this is literally what is happening. I'm picturing myself on the stage doing the technique that you're showing and rolling out and trying to escape. And it's just like, man, it just was fun. You know,
Right.
it's like very full circle moment. That's like, this is why I love jujitsu.
And then here's what's even cooler about that to me, on top of that, right, is going from that to where I'm saying it, or, you know, I'm helping coach or teach that moment. And then on top of that, Brian can add input, and he can tell us, oh, well, don't forget this, or hey, also there's this part. When you get to this point, you can do this. And that's where the real broad spectrum of a white belt, a purple belt, a brown belt, a blue belt, we're all almost on the same level right now, where this white belt can add input in to the same shit that the purple, brown belt, and blue belts are all working on at the same time. And we're all giving each other positive input. We're giving each other positive feedback, and we're all learning, and we're all getting better and improving. You know what I mean?
And there's an inherent respect, because I didn't even think of that, but we have a white belt chiming in, and I'm literally a learner in this day.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing fighting that I don't know this. I'm not looking at belt colors. I'm not looking outside of positively, right? And it didn't hit me. I mean, I've said it already, but it didn't hit me that way. Yeah, a white belt's now chiming in.
And that's what's funny to me.
And I'm just listening and taking in the information.
And that's what's funny to me is because while you're sitting there having your moment thinking of me teaching you, I had the moment where as I'm teaching it, I'm like, kind of like, oh, this is cool. You know, like I'm bringing some input. And then Brian chimes in with something to add to it. And in my head, I'm going, oh, fuck, I didn't even think about like that.
Yeah.
I was focused on this part of it. I didn't think about that. And then I like at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yes, that's what's good though, is we got the white belt adding to the same thing that the purple belt, blue belt, and brown belt are doing. And all of us are taking stuff away from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're all taking away from it, and we can all, down the road, we will all be able to add input to it as we learn it or pick it up or get better with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because this is the one part of this kind of changing a system for a little bit and doing new stuff where it is almost like all of us are on the same level.
Yeah.
Yes, we have, you know, Will's a brown belt. His jiu-jitsu and his encyclopedia jiu-jitsu is thicker than mine, you know. Ours are thicker than Brian's, whatever it might be. But we've essentially cleared the deck, and we're all working with the same cards, and we're trying to build better hands together.
Well, I came in behind.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my mindset. I'm walking in after you guys have been through a series. So I'm listening to everybody as though it's gold information coming out.
Have you been doing the series much longer than I have?
None.
I mean, he literally,
that's my first day.
He came in, well, you came in like a couple times, right? But then everything broke up.
Did we?
Because you did come in.
The last thing that I remember working on and was starting to click finally, which is funny, we could talk about that if we wanted to, was butterfly guard.
Yeah, because when you came in, we were working butterfly guard and we were working some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of dissolved. And that's when we started kind of thinking about, hey, let's sell out for the dark arts.
No. So as far as the dark arts stuff, none.
Really?
So I walked in knowing nothing and fully embracing that learner attitude and spirit. And it was a cool moment. I mean, it was all the things we already had said.
Yeah.
It was just a really cool moment.
You would have loved today then. Today was really good.
Man.
Dude, today was actually honestly.
We got a lot of reps in.
I'm bummed.
It was crazy. Today was one of those days. It was a lot of kind of going over stuff, but productive as far as getting the lesson kind of instilled and everything. But that's like you're saying, the more we can, even if we're just doing those same little drills over and over, the easier it is when we all show up, we can say, okay, let's work on this first, and then we can do it. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now let's go to this. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? So, and like I was telling you, and I think we were talking about it to whoever, but it's that whole thing of, right, like, this is what we worked on, this little thing, these 2 techniques we worked on for a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we added to that. And then it was like, we worked on this for like 3 days, or you know what I mean? So where you're coming in today is day 1. And what we can show you, it's taken us like a few, a month or however long to put that together to a point of now where it's almost like we could put together an actual lesson plan in an actual class, and it's not all over the board. Everything is like it's linear.
You have a system.
Yeah, we built the system.
Yeah.
And then I guess from what I heard is like the 6:30 will eventually become a class again.
Nice.
That will be the head coach for.
I'll stay there.
Yeah, and
that works for me.
I think at this point now, I think I'm just going to stay at that time. You know what I mean? Like, I like the 9 a.m. and stuff, but there's something also about like with the group. Besides just the timing, like the group as well, like dude.
Chemistry's there.
Yeah, you're going to have a hard time. Someone's going to have to kill me before they tell me I'm out of this group.
It's not for everybody, though.
No, it's not. But for me, it's like...
dark arts ain't for everybody, bro.
It kind of goes in line the way I think about sports anyway. It's like, if you want it, you've got to go out and get it, and you've got to go out and work for it. And part of it is waking your ass up at a time that's very uncomfortable, doing it at the first thing out the gate, making yourself do it.
That's a big thing for me. It's another motivator. It's another like I've always like one of the things that I've always liked about Floyd Mayweather was his thing where like he could go to the club, he could be at the club till 2 a.m. As soon as he leaves that club, he's going and running 3 miles. You know what I mean? I hate running, so no, that's not going to be me running. But the idea behind it is like, if we're working while somebody else is sleeping, we're working. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And now, granted, like, I'm not going to be doing that shit all day. You know what I mean? But it's just the mentality for myself of like, if I can get up, if I can do this, and I can start my day at 5:30, waking up and going through this, that sets the precedent for the rest of the day, right?
Exactly.
That should gear the rest of my day and amp it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even jiu-jitsu, right? We're not just young athletes.
Right.
We are men with families and careers and obligations. And you've got to be able to balance all of it. Mm-hmm. And that to me was part of it. It's like, I'm doing this in a way that it doesn't affect my other commitments.
Right.
And that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And it's also a good feeling that I'm saying this is important and I'm proving it's important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if we keep that, I mean, there's so many reasons I'll be happy for it.
I like it. You get your jiu-jitsu done and out of the way first thing
early. Yeah. It feels good, man. That morning, it's a great feeling. It's like, I mean, it's weird because like it's like the flip of the coin, like 2 sides of the coin, right? There's the one side of me that like anticipates it. And it's like, I know like, oh, today's Tuesday night. That means I'm training Wednesday morning. Yeah. So I'm like excited. And I'm like, that means I gotta kind of try to go to bed early. That still means I'm going to bed at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
But the point is like my body now, my mentality, everything is flipped to where it's like, that's the schedule.
Yeah.
It's now a part of the schedule. Whereas to get used to it, I hate everything. I wake up at 5:30. Fuck this. Fuck that. Fuck everything. I don't know. Fuck. Don't fucking say a word. You know what I mean? It's just fuck the world. But now it's definitely it's starting to get ingrained to where it's like
it's a routine now.
Yeah, I'm anticipating it. I'm ready to do it.
Well, those are the better days.
Yeah,
right?
For sure, always.
I mean, I think about like some routines I've been in the past where I was like very like happening without a doubt. Some of it was like meditation or journaling and things like that. And I look at the kind of growth.
This motherfucker had a journal.
Yeah.
No, I'm just.
I know.
It was a diary.
It's a diary, bitch.
This dude had a diary. But I look at the growth that came from that. But this is like that. That is a meditation. That is, exercising the mind. It's all of that in a way that's like also just fun.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
To us, at least.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like the song "Love Is My Religion," right? 5:30 a.m. jujitsu is my religion,
Right.
You know, or 6:30 a.m. jujitsu is my religion.
I was so excited to get back at jiu-jitsu that I showed up at the gym at 6:30 on Tuesday morning.
Boom.
I was like, what the hell's everybody?
Nobody's even here. Dedication, hard work, dedication.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, it's crazy to think like the beginning. We all were there in the beginning, and what it has come to, you know.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the thing that we were forcing then is way better than that.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
like back when we wanted that extra stripe and it meant something.
And when it was like it not just meant something, that was like a fucking desire. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
it
there
was, dude, I'm not even gonna bullshit. Like, when we got 4-stripe blue, dude, I was like, now when I first got it, no, but after a few months, when I knew I was like almost there, dude, that was like a fucking addiction in my head. Was like purple.
Every day when you lined up, you were making sure you were getting everything nice and tight.
Yeah, you know, I'm like making sure that belt
all
looks
4
good,
stripes are up front.
you know, making sure how's the face look. Rat tail's good, you know. You know what I mean? Like it was and it's weird too because white to blue, I wasn't necessarily like that as much as I was from blue, 4-stripe blue to purple. Because I was like,
really, I was much more like that white to blue for sure.
I was definitely like that.
no, I mean, and I was obsessed with getting the blue belt, and that's an exciting feeling. But for some reason, like, I was like yearning for that purple belt. You know what I mean? And then once I got it, then it was like that day. It was like, okay, cool. Now I can stop worrying about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is an accurate statement. Well, I want it to be accurate. If I'm gonna say it's gonna be accurate, but
Right. 100%.
getting my blue belt was one of the best days of my life.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
And just the way it impacted me, what it meant to me, more than my law degree for sure, more than passing the bar exam, hands down. That's where I was mentally with that. I look back now and I'm definitely not, I try and always be positive, and I'm not making a fake, like, I don't want to downplay a blue belt at all. I don't. But it's funny to me to look back to think that's what it meant in that moment. But again, I don't think at the time I thought it was the blue belt, but I think what it was is all these magical moments of jiu-jitsu was what that meant to me. It's like, it was the first, like, I felt like I was on the porch looking into the house the whole time.
They wouldn't let you in yet.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you in.
I
But
kept
you could
on
at least,
knocking. But
Just
you could at least, like, the screen door, it was like the screen was up so you could hear inside. You know, you're like, I'm almost. What you guys talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see the little kiddie table, thinking that's my chair right there.
Right.
I don't know what it was, man, but I do know that, and it was one of the only reason I'm saying one of is 'cause I'm trying to like factor in children and bigger moments that are supposed to be bigger moments, but that felt like an accomplishment of work. Man, I don't think I've ever felt more accomplished.
Just go straight guy style, or like Bert Kreischer style. 100% greatest moment of my life. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what.
we actually talked about your promotion today.
Did you?
Yeah, it was. We were saying that it was the last.
Yeah, you got the last beatdown.
You got the last.
Oh man,
beatdown.
I'm so glad I did too,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad I did it the way I said I wanted to do it, which was shirt off and take that shit.
Yep. Yeah, I left the rash guard on.
I said I was envious because I didn't get the beating.
You didn't? I mean, I see all kinds. I mean, it's not. I kind of like take myself out of like big time things. I could totally see. I know when that went out, even seeing mine, there are two ways to look at it. There are people that do jujitsu that saw the beauty of that moment, and then there are people that don't do jujitsu
see the violence in that moment.
Yeah, the barbarian.
Yeah, they're the ones that fucked it up for everybody.
And that's why we can't do it anymore.
Exactly.
Because we had a bunch of Karens in the background. Like,
I know. But
nobody really complained, I don't think. It was probably, I mean, it was essentially like, I could understand why we.
I heard that conversation taking that away. I don't think it had anything to do with me.
No. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there as far as like, it wasn't like people were actually complaining. No. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where.
Perception, right?
Perception and timing, right?
The perception of it is not good for the sport.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, that's my take on it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Because what the perception that group is seeing is the opposite of what's actually happening. Mm-hmm. You know, like you said, I had a choice. I could have left on my big old thick old gi and done it like that and made half the wincing faces. But I wanted the pain. Yeah, I mean, that's how I wanted to experience it. Mm-hmm. For sure. You know, because this is going to happen once, and God damn it, it's going to happen the very most specific way that it can happen.
You only get promoted to blue belt once. You know what I mean?
But anyway, back to that. That was hands down one of the best days of my, better than purple for sure. The experience and what it meant to me. I don't know what was different about purple. Purple it definitely seemed like one of those things of like where I'm at now mentally of like, I'm being recognized and I am humbled because of that recognition.
Right.
But I knew that putting on that purple belt was not going to change a damn thing.
No. And,
you know,
I think for me, like the blue belt was the more meaningful because of all the stuff behind it. But for me, purple belt, I obsessed more about right when I was there, like right when I was on the lip or the edge. You know what I mean? That's really when I was really like, because it's the.
Well, I mean, that one's also like you're a purple belt. You've heard it called a professional, right? They say, "Oh, you're a professional,"
or whatever. Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever. I think purple belt is like a respected belt, like. I don't know what a black belt thinks of a purple belt, but you know, I'm thinking it's like respected in the sense of like, you're totally like, you're not at the kid table.
Exactly.
You're eating dinner with the rest of us, but you get the small piece of chicken.
And maybe, and maybe for me, it's like I was saying that kind of that chip on the shoulder thing. You know what I mean? Like when I got to that point, it's like, give me the recognition. Give me the recognition. Give me that small piece of chicken.
Yeah.
And then once I get it, I can be as happy as possible. Cause it's like, I got the small piece of chicken, you know, like.
At least I got my chicken.
And it's only going to get better. But it's also at the same time, once you eat that little piece of chicken, you eat it and you go, oh, that was the chicken.
Yeah.
So now I just got to wait for the next piece of chicken. But it is like you keep going, you know. The comfort level, I guess, like, you know, like you said, that establishment, right? The purple, you get the establishment of like, you're not just this. You haven't just been training for a little while and you just were, you know, you did something. That to me was like, just more, that's what I was more obsessing about to that point. You know what I mean?
I don't know what blue belt meant to me in that moment. I really do think it meant a lot more than it actually was, which is why I was so excited.
Right.
In my world, I think it represented something different than what I'm now seeing a blue belt represent, which is fine. That's a great part of my journey. I'm glad that I had that day.
Right.
I really am. Like, I mean, and the way it went, I mean, I'm glad about it. But
you notice that too? I see that the blue belts that have recently got their blue belt, to me, it doesn't seem like it was as monumental as it did for when I got my blue belt.
It seems that way to me.
Yeah.
They just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I could be misperceiving it. They could be actually seeing it. They're not. The thing that I do believe about DeBoa and the new, younger crew coming up is their level of understanding about jiu-jitsu is deeper than ours was.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Because, well,
possibly.
This is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because our professor has now trial and errored a program to get the greatest amount of impact with them.
Yeah. That makes
So
sense.
now I'm going to say this in the next breath because I know what you guys were thinking. I wouldn't trade in it for a second the way we went through it. I am very proud to be part of that last crew that went through it of like iron does not sharpen you simple little straws. We break you, right?
Fucking bullshit.
No, I mean, I'm super proud of that. And I wouldn't maybe that's part of why I'm so happy. I don't know, right? Where it's like I have some level of protection, and this means I don't know all of that, but I do believe what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I do believe that by trial and error, the program that DeBoa has gives a better and deeper knowledge to those coming up. So maybe that's why they have a better understanding of what a blue belt represents than what I had.
Right.
But for me, it meant I'm part of the killers now.
Right.
You know, and now somebody else is going to feel this pain. And it didn't turn out like you guys know me. It didn't turn out that way. I'm not that guy. You know, like my jujitsu style maybe has some elements of that, but mostly I'm the first guy to help somebody. I'm the first guy to give a pointer, you know, or
unless your name is Mike.
Sorry, Mike. but anyway, I do believe that, and I want it to be that way too.
Yeah.
It should be that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You know, our professor is looking at the best way to do this.
I think when we were white belts, at least in my eyes, the upper belts were a lot tighter lipped with the knowledge.
Yeah, that's for sure.
For sure.
But it was a smaller group too, right? I mean, you look at when we came in, it was a much smaller group of the upper belts.
They certainly
they're
figuring
weren't
stuff
with the-
out.
The beat downs though.
But
Right.
they're
Oh,
all
for sure.
they're all old school too, though.
Right.
Like they were purple belts, white belts 6 years ago.
Right.
What did jujitsu look like 6 years ago?
Right.
You know, we are that hybrid version, and I think consciously we made a choice to give more nuggets when we had them, or it makes us feel good, and that's why we do it. Who knows what? I know for me, there were a few times that I got pieces of information where I was like, when I get to that level, I'm going to do what I can to help along the way. It makes everybody better. That's what I think personally. I can be wrong about it, totally wrong about it, but that's what I believe.
Hey, I don't mean to cut in, but y'all want to take a break for a second?
Yeah.
We've been at it for like an hour and a half. I've got to piss so bad.
Let's do
I
it.
didn't just want to like run out, you know what I mean? But I thought we can keep going. It's just if you want to keep going, I'll just I'll run out. But we've been going for an hour and 40 almost. So
We can take a break.
Yeah,
All right.
let's take a break.
You want me to just pause it and we just pick up?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. We'll be back, fellas. Everybody, we'll be back. And we're back.
We back. Shit, that was a fast piss break.
That was a fucking great piss break.
And we lost Dre.
Yeah, we lost one.
He got lost on the way to the bathroom.
Never showed back up. That's what happens, man. Fell in and shit. What are you gonna do?
Yep.
So what up, homeboy?
Nothing, man. What's up with you?
Just chilling and shit.
Yeah.
That was a nice little jujitsu session we were talking about.
Yeah, it was.
Adds on though, man. It was a great session today too, as well. Keep going from here.
While you guys were talking, I was just like, man, I'm just glad to be back at it, dude.
Yeah, that's good though, right?
Yeah. It's still a lot of rust to knock off, but whatever.
Yeah, like we were saying, man, it's, it's better to show up and be the nail than to not show up at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it sucks either way, but I'd rather get beat up and know that my jiu-jitsu sucks than not train, knowing my jiu-jitsu is going to get even worse.
For sure.
Shout. So what you thinking about?
I don't know, man. I was really excited to do the show today, and I didn't think about whatever we wanted to talk about.
Man, I tell you what, it was nice. We got a nice Jets conversation in there.
Yeah.
But dude, what the fuck is going on right now? Like,
Oh, with the country?
with everything, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think a lot of it has to do with the left agenda and vendetta, because they sure weren't barking this loud when BLM was
Yeah.
terrorizing and Antifa was terrorizing.
Right. Well, here's what cracks me up just off of that is, so you see, like, when the BLM stuff's happening, everybody's like, on the BLM support side, they're saying, oh, well, any of these people that are causing the problems, they're insurgents.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people from the right.
Right.
That's what's causing it. Everybody else is peaceful protesting. And then you see this shit happens the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the right? And then I see, after that happens, I see people on the right saying how, oh, the people that did all the shit, those people were insurgents from the left. They were planted in from the left to cause all those problems,
Right.
It's like, it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say, like, oh, my side, we're fine. We didn't cause any problems, and it's the other people. But when you really start thinking about it, bad apples are bad apples.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't fucking matter what side you're on. It doesn't matter. That's any walk of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about anybody that's committed murder, that has gone to jail or gone to prison for murder. The rest of their family, does that mean they're murderers?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It's just that person or whatever it might be. Dude, this shit fucking blows my mind what's going on.
Well, what's worse, storming the Capitol or taking over a whole city block?
Right. And, yeah, exactly, right?
It's just,
you create the Chaz,
right?
And then even in that shit, people are getting shot or there's shit going on. People are getting beat up.
right.
You know what I mean? But that's all for the name of their cause.
Right.
And then on the other side, you look and, this shit that happened, I wish we would have started getting into this when Dre was here. But this shit that happens on Capitol Hill, it's like, come on, man. Every single one of those people should have been shot, in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And honestly, in my opinion, too, stupid fucking white people. Stupid fucking white people. Like, that is literally the majority of the people that are there. I'm sure there are others. I'm just going to say it flat out. Like, this is the one race thing that I can get away with saying. You know what I mean? Like, without feeling bad, but fucking stupid white people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't get it, man. I don't fucking get it. I like the dude. I don't like the. I thought it was hilarious. The dude from Arizona. The one with the buffalo horns on and his face. He's from Arizona.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, what was weird is before I even knew that dude was from Arizona and I saw pictures of him, I was like, that's the icon for that whole movement right there. That one dude, like.
The horns and all.
The horns, the face painting, everything. That's like, boom, right there. And then, of course, he's got to be from Arizona. I was like,
Score
go fucking.
one for AZ.
I know, right? We're number one.
Another one.
Another number one. We're number one in COVID, and we're number one in fucking douchebaggery.
That's right. We're the first to have a death from COVID prevention.
Right? Dude, man. I knew there was a reason why I moved here. I knew this state was on the forefront of something.
We breaking records.
Yeah, man. All y'all fools, fuck Texas. Move to Arizona.
Oh, shit, dude. God, why easy, man? It must be something in the water here or something.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. And it's funny, right? Because it's like Arizona, like even for me to move here, it was like, it's not California, but it's still like a progressive state. Everything seems to be more advanced here than, other states. And then now I've lived here long enough, I started watching kind of things change over time. You know what I mean? And now it's like, shit, dude, look at it.
It's that left influence, man.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know. I even, I was thinking about it, talked about it a little bit before the election and stuff, but that cycle of people leaving California to come out here, I think, and not just California, but other states too, that's what helped to flip this state. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it flipped this year to actually go to blue.
Right.
And, from one side, people can say, oh my God, finally, that's cool, change and everything. But, looking at it from kind of that middle perspective, it's like, is that going to really change much?
It does change a lot in the respect that you get that douchebaggery that comes with it,
Yeah. But then we also have to question, like, kind of like we're saying, like, do we want all that fucking extra progressiveness coming into the state?
I just like to live my life.
Yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean? I don't like all this trouble. I didn't like it when the left did it, and I didn't like it when the right did it, man. Everybody just needs to get along, man, and work, and fucking send me my check,
dude. Yeah.
What's up with that, man? You think we're gonna get a third? You think they're gonna correct this one because there was talks about making it 2000?
Yeah. So as far as the last that I heard or started paying attention to it, Biden was saying, especially now that the Senate majority or the tiebreaker goes now to the left, they're ready to roll out $2,000 checks, right? Yeah. Even Trump's saying that shit. Like that was like his last ditch effort to get some sort of support,
right,
or just to throw a wrench into the shit. I don't really know what his whole idea behind saying that, because up until that point he wasn't supporting it. Then all of a sudden, he was supporting it.
I heard differently. I heard from the start he was saying go big.
Yeah, he did want to go big.
Yeah.
But I also think, again, I think some of it is all predicated on like what else is going to go through with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if we do this, what else is going to happen? And even like when he had that press conference where he's calling out all that pork barrel spending on it, all that fucking pork. And I agreed with him on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we should not be paying X amount of money for fucking fish hatcheries or X amount of money for other countries' support. We're trying to figure out this bill for us.
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah,
dude,
I don't understand any of that at all.
The whole thing's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I'll tell you though, I'm all right.
I'm still training.
I mean, I'm still training. I still be doing all right. I'm still alive.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're fortunate in that we can say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of people who can't say that, and that sucks for them.
Yeah.
I think that if nothing else, he put a lot of eyes onto a lot of the things that were going wrong, even though nothing was done to correct it.
Right.
It's just the way it goes, man.
Yeah. Fuck that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Dark arts.
Dark arts. Excuse me.
So this is the first podcast of the year, man.
First one. New year, new podcast, new tomato cans, huh?
I hate to be all cliche and shit, but I really do think that this year is going to be different, man.
Yeah, man. I we've been talking about like some different stuff to do.
Yeah,
change it up a little bit. I like the setup.
Yeah, thank you.
The fucking setup is dope. And also this last year was fucking weird, right? I mean, we get stuck into the same shit, especially these curveballs, COVID and whatever else. Yeah, man, I think let's have some fun this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean? Let's get a lot more busy too, man.
Yeah, for sure. We got some definite good ideas. Like, I think we should make, do some skits, do some stuff like that. I think the dinner with the boys kind of thing. I mean, that's what originally started this whole idea, right? Was, we have a strength between our group, all of us. We have different styles and techniques of cooking, which is amazing, and we all like to eat. We all like to fucking drink. We all like to have fun.
Right.
We should be putting that shit together.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no reason why we shouldn't. And, yeah, dude, I think this year's going to be a lot of fun. Dude, I've been fucking, I've been stuck on these goddamn mafia podcasts and stuff lately, dude.
Sammy the Bull got
Man,
you, huh?
Sammy the Bull, that's a fucking good podcast, though.
I tell you what, man, his voice is mesmerizing. I don't know what it is about him. I listened to the other guy you recommended.
Yeah.
It just wasn't there. I mean, the stories were interesting.
Yeah. So, of all the ones I've listened to, there's like Michael Franzese, you know, he's got a lot of good stories. John Elite or Alite, I don't know, I'm not quite sure. Alite is his last name. John Elite. He was another hitman in the Gambino family.
Oh.
So he knows Sammy the Bull.
Yeah.
And he was friends with Sammy the Bull. And then Sammy the Bull's, like you said, man, he can articulate the way he tells the stories. He keeps you like on edge that whole time. Yeah. But then he's like, it's weird because even in the moments where it's a serious moment in the story, the way he can tell it's not just like telling you like, oh, and I said, fuck this dude and fuck that. Like he portrays the whole story so you can see it. And you can kind of experience it. That's some fucking real shit though, right?
And then he throws in bro.
Yeah, bro. when he starts saying bro, man, that's what gets me every time. He's like, okay, bro, you're disrespecting the boss, bro? You know? I'm like, oh. Like, I wonder, and so even listening to those, I wonder, like, do you really think he was saying bro back then?
No, he was. I think that's something.
Yeah, that's just something now, right? That's just in the vernacular now. But
that's post-prison.
Yeah. That's a post-2010 thing, you know, post-2015 thing. But, dude, man, they've got me, like... I've always listened to mafia stuff. I've always liked it.
Yeah.
Especially like being Italian, you know, that's just something that's always interested me. But all crime stuff, not just mafia.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been interested or intrigued with like crime stories or, you know, these gang stories, like the rise and fall type of stuff. You know, that's always intriguing to me. And yeah, man, what's with this new channel with Sammy the Bull, man, that's freaking phenomenal though, you know?
Yeah, in the 90s, there was a whole rash of mobster movies. And they just stopped making them.
Isn't that weird too? Like I was thinking about that. Yeah, like you had Goodfellas, Casino, I mean, shoot.
Even before that, I remember there was one with Christian Slater and...
I mean, there's been a lot of good ones that came out, but it was like you said, all around the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what is Donnie Brasco?
Yeah, Donnie Brasco.
Yeah.
That was like one of the last ones. They actually, a lot of the mobsters said that was the most accurate.
Right. And there's some other ones that are supposed to be pretty accurate that are like older too. But you know, you think like did you see The Irishman?
I haven't seen it on my watch
like
list.
The most recent. It was a good movie, right? But it's weird because, I mean, especially like if you've heard these stories over time, you know, it's a recycled story, so you should have heard it before at some point. And it's something. I mean, it's over Jimmy Hoffa, right? Which is like a big thing. But even then, with that story, like they say it's inaccurate. You know, like they say like Frank Sheeran was not the one that killed Hoffa, and there's 18 different stories or whatever.
Well, Franzese claims that he knows exactly where the body is,
but but they don't know where the body is.
I'll tell you what, it's somewhere wet,
and they'll never find it. You know, but it's crazy. You know, I started listening, and even like the audio stories, just kind of like. Over certain mobsters and stuff, man, I can't imagine what it was like living like, and even not just in New York at the time, but thinking about even like Vegas, or Atlantic City. Like Vegas became what it is now off the back of what the mafia started.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And dude. Could you imagine, like, we've been to Vegas. I mean, I think the first time I went to Vegas, I was probably like 14, 15. You know, and when we went, or when I first started going, and us being pretty close to the same age, that's like fairy tale. Like, Vegas started trying to change, you know, and they're starting to bring it like family friendly.
It all went downhill when Excalibur went up.
Yeah, right. And then you had like Excalibur, Luxor, and like New York, and Paris, when all those went up. Monte Carlo. I remember like the first hotel I stayed there was like at Monte Carlo. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and seeing the Luxor, and to me that was amazing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But you think even from that point to now, like I remember even not being that young, but even younger, being in my 20s, you know, even like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you could go, it was cheaper, you know, like you could go, you could still get a cheap meal, you could still enjoy it, you know, and then like going to the last few years where we go and it's like, it's just a fucking money trap.
Yeah, it is, man.
You know?
Table minimums have been, I went to, where the hell was I? I think I was at the Monte Carlo or something like that. And the lowest table minimum was $50. It's like, who the fuck plays this?
At Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Which is like, you would expect to go there and find a $10 minimum.
Right, because it's further up the strip.
It's not the hot spot anymore. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, there's times where it's like, I've been thinking like, what... It's weird, something like the mafia, the grip that they had, all the shit that they did, the bad shit that they did. But then, so they lose control of like Vegas, right? And then who takes control of Vegas? Like other rich people?
Corporations?
Corporate people, exactly. And then what happens? Like, you look at Vegas now, everything's out to the street. Everything goes up in price.
Right.
You still can have fun, but you have to, it's fabricated.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of, if you don't see through or if you don't see through the glitz and glamour, you're going to enjoy it, right? I don't go to Vegas for the glitz and glamour. You know what I mean? And so, like, my trips there, they're not fun anymore.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, I remember going in my early 20s and losing money at the table. And the pit boss would come over and say, hey, you know, let me help you out a little bit.
Here, hey, take a meal. You know, exactly. Something. Like, here, you've been staying here for 3 nights. I've been seeing you play for the last 2 days. Here, we comp your room for tonight.
Right.
Something, anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, you don't get that shit anymore, man.
No, they run your card, see if you have enough points.
Yeah.
Or your ass out.
Fuck all that, dude.
Yeah, fuck that.
I love it and hate Vegas now, man. And I used to love it. Just love it.
When the last time you went, were they charging for parking?
No.
They charge for parking now.
Where at? Everywhere?
Well, actually, during COVID, they stopped. But I think as soon as things start to pick up again,
it's going to go back.
It's going to go back.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit.
Last time I went was for that Masters of Worlds when we ended up... Dude, that was a great time. And we found that video roulette table, man.
That was a night, man.
Dude. You know, there's those times that stick out for gambling nights, especially going to Vegas. That's one of my all times. Because, I mean, dude, we literally sat there with like the last bit of everything and we fucking walked away. You and I sat nobody else is at that fucking machine. And we made that shit jumping, dude.
Yeah.
When we walked away, there's like 30 people around that fucking machine.
We were louder than the live craps.
Yeah, we had the live tables looking at the fucking fake craps table because we were having so much fun, and everybody was. You know what I mean,
dude? I went to Harrah's when we went to South Carolina. They have a table that's all digital, and so the same thing. You have a screen, you place your bets, but you actually throw the dice.
Really?
Yeah. It's fucking awesome, man.
Huh.
It was awesome.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Like virtual dice or real dice?
No, real dice.
Real dice.
You throw real dice, everything's the same, but then you can do all your crazy bets and nobody sees what you're doing, you know?
Right, and then it just pulls the dice and gives to whoever else.
Yeah, so there's still a dealer there with the hook.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I would rather do that than the way it is at most roulette tables.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I was like, that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes I want to do some crazy bets, but I don't want to do it at a live table. Where
and you're trying to yell it out loud and people are looking at you sideways and shit. That's the thing that gets me, especially at those tables, is like betting strategy.
Yeah.
And like, if you want to play your game, that's one thing, but... And especially roulette for me, that's like one of the games I'm not as familiar with. So when I go up to a table, like my voice isn't there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have the command or the authority or like the know-how to really be like, 5 the hard way, or, just start yelling all this shit out. Whatever it is, I'm just.
Yeah, you definitely outed yourself.
Yeah, there we go. And see, then everybody's looking at me like, this motherfucker. I did start watching roulette videos and shit though afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, on YouTube there's a group a YouTube channel, Color Up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that or not, but it's basically an all roulette strategy roulette playing channel, which is pretty cool. Like sometimes they'll do live in casinos. Obviously they know people, so it's like a table set up for the broadcast. It's not like he's just walking up to some random table filming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then other ones are just dry runs. He was a dealer for a long time, so he has like a table, a roulette table at his house, and then he just talks strategy or talks about this, that, and the other scenarios.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or not roulette craps, I'm sorry.
Was it you, or did I watch a video? Somebody was talking about being a really good card counter, and then he talked about some kid that idolized him, that convinced his mom to move to Vegas, and he set up a life-size table
Really?
for craps, and all he did every day was practice throwing the dice, and he became the best dice roller and got banned.
I have not heard of that, but that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, man. It just takes dedication, dude.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of talk even with that, the science behind how you throw the dice,
Right.
or, like strategy with betting or consistency, and that's the key. Like for me, coming from blackjack or poker, right? It's, you want to bet consistently,
Right.
or you want to try to play consistently. You don't want to be erratic, especially in blackjack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Poker, yeah, it's weird for me with poker. I love playing poker, but I've never been. I guess it depends on my stack with poker. Like if I'm sitting with a big stack, it's easier for me to kind of bluff on the, like some blinds and stuff and try to force action that way. However, like if I'm actually playing, I don't like to play a lot of bluff action. You know what I mean? I like to play a lot of just straight up, like if I got the cards, I got the cards. If not, if I like to set traps or like to wait for other people to bet themselves into a bad situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of been my strategy with fight card or any poker.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I love gambling though.
Yeah, no, we played a lot of poker in South Carolina too. Those guys, man, every night. It kind of got the bug back into me.
Yeah.
To play poker.
So how long were you there in South Carolina?
We were there for a little over a week.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice, man.
Got to see the family.
Got to see the family. You don't realize. I mean, you kind of do realize how much you're missing out on, but it doesn't really come to light until you're there again. Like even the stupid stuff, like the girls bickering all the time with each other. Like I miss that stuff, man.
Right.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, we've been talking, like you were saying, the thoughts of even moving to South Carolina and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously you spend the time there, you get to see everybody, and that really brings back the stuff that you miss, right?
Yeah.
Certainly. It really brings it up to the front, but I ain't gonna lie, man, I would hate it if you left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We just we got to make shit happen, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
Make shit happen. If I make enough money just to go whenever I want to, then we got no problems.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, we've done plenty of talking about this shit off microphone and stuff. So the bottom line is 2021 could be a fucking great year.
Oh, it's going to be a great year, man.
And when it is a great year, then a lot of these other decisions, hey, that's what happens. It is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? But fuck, dude. It's good though that you got to get out there and spend some time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like I was saying earlier, it was good to see the girls, but it was also good to be reminded of some of the reasons why we left that kind of environment, But I think so here's my take on it. I'm glad that the kids are over there because it's a smaller market. And so thankfully, all my kids have drive. And I think that if they just put at least just half effort into it, they'll be successful. They'll be able to do something and take care of themselves. Whereas here, there's a lot more opportunity, but there's also a lot more competition, And my dad made that pretty clear. He kind of switched over when he went to go visit Bellingham. He came back and he just wasn't the same anymore. But he did point that out, and I saw the same thing. I don't know. I think a lot of people over there are just comfortable, and there's a lot of hand-me-down lifestyle. My parents had this house, and then they passed, or they handed it down to me, and now I'm taking over, and that's just the culture.
Right.
So you get somebody who has a little bit of ambition. Okay, I'll go to school. I want to learn this. And every single one of those people who took that extra step is successful. Whereas over here, you can go through all the motions and it doesn't guarantee anything,
Right.
So I think from that perspective, I think that the kids are better off over there, at least until they establish a good life,
Yeah, man, that's tough. I mean, it is. It's like you said, touching on a lot of that, even for me, like moving out here, right? It was like that sense of knowing what you have, knowing what's there, you know what I mean? And then it's like, my parents, neither one of them graduated from college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like one of those things where for me, taking the next step, I move out here. I have a culinary arts degree. I now, I have an associate's in arts from college, and then I've got my home inspector's license. So it's like always, for me moving out here, continuing to learn stuff and do new things, and not get pigeonholed, because that was a thing growing up. That's why I wanted to get out of Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be stuck watching kind of that. I always call it like a black hole. And watching people get stuck in the black hole. And I love them to death, but I got a lot of friends, or I know a lot of people back home that they're still in that same fucking trap,
Do you think though, because for me, I saw that, you don't get any more small town than where I went, there was still a lot of farms and stuff. But I see that there's progression there too. I see the signs of the times, and
right.
So I don't know if there's a true small town America anymore, because everybody has a Starbucks and internet connection.
There are, but it's the little towns.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, where were you at? What city? Or
I can't remember, but it was right outside Spartanburg.
Okay. So I know, like, for me, like Oklahoma, for example, right? You go to, if you're in Norman, you're in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Muskogee, like bigger cities, Edmond, the names of bigger cities, there are those, it's still like that. But then if you get into like smaller towns, Slaughtersville, or like Wayne Payne, or, start naming, yeah, exactly. And you start getting into those names, there's still that small town America, but it's not the same as what it once was, right? Because I think a lot of this is with, especially the advancement of electronics and technology in general, you're not as far away now. Like, even if you're in that small town,
right,
you're not as far away as stuff going on in a bigger area, because it's as simple as getting on an iPad or whatever else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember in high school in Michigan, it was considered to have like an exotic car if you had a Honda Civic.
Right. Right. Hey, dude, that's like for us though, like late 90s in Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like Civic, if you had like the Civic Si or you had like the hatchback Civics, you know, and if you had a Prelude, like you could start going over all those rice burners.
Yeah.
And that was the shit though.
Yeah, you were getting pussy.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah, you were. You know, that was the thing though, man.
Right.
But, and even touching on like you're saying, like when I was growing up in Norman was a pretty big city. It was a college town, but Oklahoma as a whole, it always seemed like it was a step behind on things. You know, if trends started happening or if things started happening, it had to go from California and trickle down and find its way to us, you know, or it started in New York and trickled down and found its way to us. Now, like with the way technology is and everything, I mean, you could be in that fucking bumfuck town, and if you have an internet connection, you know what's going on in New York, LA, or all these other big cities.
Right.
So it definitely has changed in that aspect, you know, like for the longest time, you know, growing up, I wanted to get out and I moved out here. And even after I first moved out here, things didn't really seem changed. But then after a few years of me being out here and going back, you started to see the progression there pick up.
Yeah.
Where now it's like if I go from here to there, there's not too much difference.
Right.
As far as like being on top of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's still differences, cultural atmosphere, or like even time. Like I go back there and it's like at a certain time things just seem to wind down. You know, out here though, you could go out, you could find something to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or little things like that. But who would, you know, it blows my mind to think that Oklahoma would have been at the forefront of like this marijuana shit right now that's going on. Like it blows my mind to think that that's even a possibility.
Why is that, man? Why Oklahoma? Is it just the land?
I don't fucking know, man.
Wow.
We're a red state, completely red state. We're like the only, like, we've got to be one of the only red states that has fucking taken their thought process and gone, fuck it. Let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're just that stupid redneck or if like what it is, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever it is, like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that that's where we're at, but dude, that state is blowing up on that side. You know what I mean? It's so insane. And they got they do not have the greatest people in charge either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, who does, man?
And I mean, most states don't really, you know? And it's crazy to think, like, you don't really think about it, right? But it's local government really as much as it is, like, national or state, you know, government that really dictates what's going on around for us.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you lose touch of it. Everybody kind of lost touch of it, but really with COVID, you kind of see where that look at how we're doing things here. You know, I mean, we still go through some hardships, right? But if we want to go get a bite to eat, we can still go get a bite to eat.
Yeah.
You know, like
pretty much find whatever you want to eat any hour.
And we can still do things, you know what I mean? We're still kind of, you know, we're still hanging out and doing stuff, but it's like at a elevated sense, right? You know what I mean? You're still kind of paying attention.
Yeah.
California, man, like shit is shut down.
Right.
You know, like places are shut down, and there's not an ability to go see 10 other people in a spot, you know, without there being an issue.
Wasn't there a petition to recall? What's his face?
Who? Arnold?
No. The governor, Gavin Newsom.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that actually. Like, well, I don't really know like much on that. I know though from everything the way it's been going, I don't think he's going to get reelected.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's for sure. Everybody's when the left is tired of the left,
right? Ain't that
you're
something?
In trouble, man.
Dude, I don't know what to make with some of this left. Like, the further left you get, the further crazy it gets.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, man. That's for sure. I think it goes for both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no the common ground is increasingly shrinking.
Yeah, it is. Everything's so polarized. But the farther right you go, I hear you start growing face paint and horns.
Right. And QAnon, man.
I don't know much about that.
I don't. It's just a bunch of that. I've heard like so many different kind of iterations of QAnon. Like when it first started out, it was just kind of like talking about the bullshit that was going on in the office.
Okay.
Right. And then it turned in and it manifested to this whole thing where Trump, like when I first knew about it, it was kind of like talking about the bullshit going on and just the dumb fuckery going on in the White House.
So it's a leftist movement.
Well, that's what I thought.
Okay.
At first, because it was just talking about how shitty things were. And somewhere along the line, it turned into now where it's like Trump is leading a group to destroy all the pedophiles.
Oh.
And he's got opposition from everybody else. And, now it's like they're trying to weed out the secret leaders of the government. And, it's
the New World Order.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what so QAnon's trying to defeat the New World Order or defeat all this shit going on. But the further it goes, the more all I see is just a bunch of dumbass people that just spouting more shit. You know what I mean?
Did you hear something about Trump trying to push a bill to declassify all known alien activity?
No, I didn't hear that. But I heard something about him knowing about all this shit and he's refusing to say it. Who was it? Prime Minister of some other country. Did you hear about this? This is just recent, real recent. Somebody, I don't remember what country it was for, he came out and said aliens are real. We've had contact with them. There's a higher order that they're waiting for us for some certain conditions before they start contacting us.
Really?
And Trump knows about all this but won't say anything.
Now see that already, invalidates itself.
See, this is where I wish we had Lay so we could be look that shit up, Lay.
Trump cannot keep his mouth shut about anything, so that invalidates it right there already.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows about it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Israel, huh?
Yeah. So, I don't know. So Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from a galactic federation.
Oh, so it does exist.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Humanity is not ready. Humanity's not ready yet for the known existence. Apparently, that's what Israel's Defense Ministry Space Directorate told whoever.
Was he contacted by the rebels or
or
the Empire?
So
rebel forces.
Somebody said, this dude said, the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe. And cooperation agreements had been signed between species, including an underground base in the depths of Mars, where there are American astronauts and alien representatives.
Wow.
This is an agreement between the U.S. government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here.
And thus COVID was born.
Yeah, apparently. Eshed added that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing information, but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria.
Wow.
That, what I was just reading, was from NBC News. So take it for what you will.
NBC, huh?
That was NBC News.
They're against Trump.
They're fake news, right?
Yeah. Who the hell is Real News anymore?
I don't even
anyways,
know.
man?
One Access, I guess. I don't fucking know, dude.
GRE.
Yeah,
That's where I get my news from.
man. You know what? I gotta fucking say something honestly. So I wasn't against like the transition of Rogan going to Spotify, and I'm still not. I don't really give a fuck that he did it. That's cool. You do your thing. I will say this though: since he's moved over to Spotify, I have not been listening to as much of.
Yeah.
And it seems like so far the guests have changed a little bit. It seems like not so many people that I frequently want to listen to. You know what I mean?
I think that just has to do with the adjustment.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's had comedians like 4 lined up in a row.
And that's true, dude. I mean, he did have like some shots there where it's like, oh, sweet. Oh, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? But I guess, and that's true. And even on YouTube beforehand, it was the same way, right? You'd have like, you'd go a week where it's like every guest you want to listen to. Then 1 week, maybe there's like 2 guests you want to listen to.
And then Red Band comes back.
Yeah. And then he brings on Alex Jones. And then the frogs are turning gay again. You know?
And Eddie Bravo.
Dude, look into it.
Look into it.
All I'm saying is look into it. But man, I tell you what, a lot of people fucking hate the fact that he went to Spotify, which cracks me up, you know?
You know, but you, me, and Tui, who are all pretty avid listeners, we can't be the only ones who's doing this. I think he's lost somewhat of an audience.
Yeah, and so I was thinking about that too. The numbers had to gone down somewhat, right?
Right.
But then I wonder too with going to Spotify, how many people that would just listen to Spotify that didn't get on YouTube?
I think that number is pretty small.
It might be, yes, but you know, there's people out there.
Yeah.
That granted, whatever the reason might be, maybe they just throw Spotify on while they're working, or they can't get on the internet at their office, or whatever it might. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But granted, too, if you're using your phone, you can get on Spotify as easy as YouTube.
Yeah,
but
what I like about Spotify the most is that he front loads all his commercials.
Yeah.
And I think he had a lot to do with trying to minimize the amount of commercials during his show on YouTube, but they still came up.
Dude. Speaking of that shit, so there's one of them. I was just listening a couple days ago. I don't know. Have you listened lately? It was the guy that was on for the Dolphins to save the Dolphins.
I've heard him before, so
he's been on multiple times, right? So I started listening the other day, but it was the music starts and then it goes into the commercials.
Yeah.
So you can just click like at the end of the commercial on each one, and then it goes on to the next one. I think Rogan's picked up on that because like the last words as you go into the next one, it was like you click the button at the very end of the commercial to go into and it was like, shave your balls. And it was like, the next one was like, it said something else, but then the last one was like, it was like another one of it was like the same commercial again. So it was like, shave them again. You know? I swear he's picking up on that. People are probably just hitting like the last button. So it was like balls, sandwich, shave them again. You know, it was like he's making a mockery of the ads a little bit because he's like, God, I have to fucking read these things now.
Right.
But I picked up on it. I don't know if that's for sure, but
wow, I have to go back and listen now.
Yeah. I was gonna say look for that because I swear, man, when you skip those commercials, now I think he's kind of picking up on that.
Yeah.
So look for that. It cracked me up. I was laughing at that before I even got into the episode because I was like, because listening to enough of him, he talks about how he hates doing ad reads, and it's just like he's just got to get it over with.
Right.
So hearing that, then I started to chuckle, thinking like he's got to have picked up on this.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, okay, well I have to do it. Just fucking one more way to make it a little more fun for himself.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. One of these days we'll be doing the same thing.
Exactly, man. Speaking of shaving balls.
Jesus. You know what? I haven't shaved my balls with it yet.
You didn't even give it a run, man.
My back.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, B, I gotta tell you, that was a good fucking gift that I got. I cracked up when I opened it too. That is the Manscaper.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Telling
just
you,
great.
man. Kimberly will thank you.
Yeah.
And she'll thank me for getting it for you.
Yeah, right. Well, she hasn't thanked me yet, so we're still a couple steps behind. But
Telling you, man.
we'll get there, bro. We'll get there.
You'll get more action.
Oh man.
Oh shit. Did we just do another hour already?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had like 2.5 hours.
That was pretty awesome.
Some good shit. What you think, man?
Oh, I don't know. I think that we should reserve our ideas for our skits and our songs off the air and just surprise our fan base.
Yeah, that's for sure. For people that don't know, which is everybody, for the 11 fans out there, 11 teen fans we got out there, I'm just going to call it we in the teens, the 11 teens.
Hell yeah. We're moving on up.
For all them fans out there, we got some ideas, man. It's going to be fun.
That's right.
Dude, I got... Did I? Maybe I don't know. We got to talk about this off air.
Okay.
This is some of that off air
All right.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, well, shit, man. I guess let's call this what it is, huh?
Yeah. Let's do that.
2.5 hours. Dre Day, good to see you.
Yeah, Dre.
Yeah, that's Dre. He's gone though, so. It's him saying bye.
He's locked in the basement.
Dre's locked in my basement. All right, homeboy. Always good to see you, man.
Yeah, same here, bro.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Feliz Navidad and all that bullshit.
Yeah, all that good shit.
Gotta get back to it, man. Start getting on this. Have some fun with this shit.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you stick around this long, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. We out. Tomato cans.
Peace.
Peace.